And actually, Bean2099 in the chat, by the way, fantastic screen name, as I always say, but asked, what character slash figure do you hope NECA and Super 7 will make in the near future? So you had mentioned the Mighty Mutanimals, for sure on the list. I know one big one that actually we were kind of talking about earlier before the stream, sorry guys, it didn't make air, is the Neutrinos. I would love an animated set of the Neutrinos. What about you, Dan?
It's tough, man. Like, I would love the Neutrinos. I'd love anything, right? Anything that they're, if they're coming out with guys that represent the original cartoon, I'm not going to bat an eye at anybody that they bring out. I would tend to lean more towards the earlier guys than some of the later stuff in like season, what is that, 8, when we started going into space and going all over the place.
Like they have Doom Quest and yeah.
It's, if I could get, see, and also I get confused on what we've already announced and purchased in those pre-order weeks a couple months ago. We got a wingnut, right?
No,
not yet.
We got
all right, then mark me down for a wingnut. I could use a wingnut.
Well, I mean, and Fred Wolf accurate wingnut and screw loose. We're talking big screw loose on that one too. Which would be
absolutely, that'd be great.
Yeah.
What about you, Mr. Geeky?
So so the question is Fred Wolf and Super 7. So on the Fred Wolf side of thing,
Falcon's on it.
There is, I would love to get a Colossus. I'm trying, it was one of the frogs that was the Colossus. There's some deep cut ones that I'm really looking forward to getting. I guess would be excited for a Brick Bradley, Bugman Brick Bradley. I think, and I feel like one is coming because it's been teased. I know on the Disguised Turtles, they're like on the box art for that. There was a hint at that. Zach the Fifth Turtle is another one that I've been kind of just like, I know it's coming.
Begging for Zach.
Yeah. And they teased him, so
yeah.
We even got.
How did they tease him? I might have missed that.
Hold up, I have it right here. There's 2 teases on the box.
Well, three.
Well,
there's 4, I guess. 4, right? There's Human Baxter. There's Electro Zapper. Right?
I can barely see that. Who's in the other window?
So I've heard a couple of things. I've heard that this is supposed to be Scrag. I've also heard it's supposed to be Human Baxter Stockman.
That looks more like, or you mean Barney Stockman? That'd be fun if you could get Baxter and Barney heads on there.
Yeah.
Oh, good call.
I kind of thought we were gonna have that with Baxter when they announced Baxter, was that it was like, here's pieces to change him into, you know.
Yeah.
But if we can make him Barney and Baxter, then I think that
maybe an accessory pack down the line, an extra head.
Yeah.
Or that's the 2-pack.
I'd be absolutely fine with that. 100% fine with that. But I think I also was really excited to see some of those characters I never thought that I would see, like Scrag. I mean, the Loot Crate Scrag. I mean, yes, you have to buy all in to get it. And that's another one where I bit the bullet on that and was like, I'm doing it. I need to get Scrag. And here's the thing. In all honesty, it's been such a long time. David and I were talking about this earlier. Danny, I vaguely remember Danny. That was not the appeal character to me. I'm happy to have it, but I don't.
You're talking about Danny from the first movie?
Yeah, it's been a long time since.
Oh, what a statement! What a controversial hot take we got here. Danny is nothing, according to Mr. Geeky.
No, Danny is
barely rememberable.
You are. You're ruining me, man. No, I mean, Danny is. Here's the thing. I remember him vaguely in my mind, but again, it's been many, many years since I saw it. Ooze is much more crystal clear in my head, right? When we talked the donuts, I remember that.
Oh yeah.
Danny is like.
Kino, I'll give you that. He's not as like screen ready, or he doesn't pop off the screen. Right, exactly. It's also Dan now.
Dan. Sorry,
but Kino is the same character in the second movie, but Kino was a lot more like he had it. Like he was popping off the screen. Danny in the first movie kind of blended in with all the other foot soldiers and didn't really have anything that made him pop. Do you have a character from the first movie that you would have preferred that they would have made instead of Danny?
I mean, you're asking me to remember everything. I mean, they've made all the primaries from that film. That I mean, Kino was one I'm still waiting on. That I'm like, that's what I'm excited for.
Him and the Professor.
Exactly. So from the first one, no. I mean,
I don't even know what other option you have other than Danny's dad. But if you don't remember Danny, I doubt you remember his father.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, it's like asking me from part 3 who I remember the best of.
There you go. Okay.
I was more excited for the fact that we're getting the Dark Turtle, and we're getting Armaggon, and we're getting a Scrag, right? So I mean, this is
sure.
Am I forgetting somebody?
No,
that's everybody, right?
No, Mutated Shredder.
Oh, Mutated Shredder, right?
Armaggon, you say? We'll get back to him.
I was saying this before too. Like the Armaggon, I'm really excited to get that Tournament Fighters Armaggon, but I don't know if I'm as excited as if I were to get the Archie version.
Yeah.
Which I like the idea that this could be teasing into that we're now expanding into Tournament Fighters. I just don't know if this is a licensing thing, if they have to do it a certain way where they can only do it through Loot Crate, or if this is going to be like the other arcade turtles and stuff where we are going to have full lines with these, in which case
how many games can we jump between? I agree with you.
Yeah, but I'm excited for, there's some really fun options, including like the clone turtles too. I mean, the purple turtles of all the turtles, I mean, that's great.
All of them are Donnie.
NECA, okay, here's what I would be most excited for. A couple things. One is the remainder of Bebop and Rocksteady's gang, which is, I'd love to see Grunt. I'd love to see Dopey and Dumbo. And, I mean, those are characters that I feel like we'll get them as Loot Crate characters. To me, it seems like that's the modality they might go with it, because they're not as necessarily well known. I say that tentatively. People do know who they are, who those characters are, but I think that it's not as recognizable as Bebop and Rocksteady or someone like Groundchuck or Dirtbag is an example.
I feel like when they heard that, like there was the rumor and innuendo of, hey, there's going to be a gang member, and people were thinking, oh, it's going to be an unmutated Bebop and Rocksteady. I still think that's in the timeline somewhere. Yeah. But actually, interestingly enough, we have a couple folks that threw out some pretty kick-ass ideas. 4-pack samurai set from TMNT 3, which would be a cool one and done. I mean, unless you're going to do Lord Norinaga, you're not really going to do too much from that movie, I'm guessing. Tatsu, of course, and Sam Rockwell.
I have a question for you guys on Rockwell. I always see people asking for Sam Rockwell. I love Sam Rockwell in everything that he's in, and I love him in the first Turtle movie. But if the character is not played by Sam Rockwell, do people still want a figure of him?
No.
It's only because it's Sam Rockwell, right?
Yeah. It's because people went, oh, I know who that is.
Right, exactly. They feel they feel like some sort of enlightenment because they realize, oh, this is a guy before he was a guy.
Right. I knew him when.
Exactly. And so finally we're on that Super 7 choo-choo train, Mr. Geeky.
I don't know if this is possible. So of the characters that were made, I am, because it's all of the toys that were created. I have a hefty list of characters I want to see. But I mean, Fugitoid is high up there. Walkabout is pretty high on the list. I would love to see Scratch. And I mean, the thing is too, I'm gonna jump for 2 seconds and we can come back to this. But I like the notion of thinking about kind of a loophole idea here. If NECA could do Fred Wolf versions of some of the characters that were Playmates, but in the Fred Wolf version.
Yes.
Which has never been done, and they weren't there except for theoretically Wyrm, right? Because Wyrm was in the Playmates commercial in the Fred Wolf style. So, I mean, there's that loophole there that's like, well, could we do that then?
What a terrifying character, by the way, Wyrm.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there. in an Archie book, he talks about wanting to eat warm flesh. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Terrifying character.
Oh, so terrifying. But lovable and endearing at the same time.
Remind me not to come over for dinner.
I mean, but it brings up a good point. Wyrm is one of those characters I'd love to see Super 7 do. I know that they would knock it out of the park. I mean, that would be a lot of fun. I saw what they did with Muckman. I saw what they did with Mondo, and I'm like, okay, they will do good by Wyrm.
I'm very curious if for Wyrm, the turtles and stuff that have the swappable head, if they'll give him if they give him like a swappable, like crazy eating head and like the standard closed mouth, or they give like an Archie version and, the more classic, look. I'd be real curious to see what would come of that.
Yeah. I mean, there's variant colors too. If you think to like this is kind of like going off the rails a little bit, but there was that series that was with the selected, and do you know what I'm talking about? It was like a run where it was going to be like a whole bunch of new characters that got scrapped, but Wyrm was in that.
We can't show the pictures yet on those. There's rumors that a bunch of that stuff is going to be included in a new book that's coming out. Hopefully a lot of that stuff will come unearthed. Another one is that Rad Plastic book, which shows up a metric ton of figures. Crayshot, I'm right with you. The Pizza Monster from NECA, hella exciting. I'm very frustrated that you could only order two. Yet in all the ads, they showed 3. Scumbug from Super 7, or the Dino Turtle. Very, very cool. cool.
Yes,
Universal Monsters would be great.
Oh, dude, I want a Mummy Raph and a Frankendon or a Franken Mikey. And being 2099, conversely, I'd like to see Super 7 do cartoon characters that never originally got Playmates toys done in Playmates style, i.e. Granitor, Rex 1.
There you go.
Oh, that'd be great. That's a great idea.
And I think that's the fun thing is there's a lot of that cross-pollination that I think is going to happen more and more. However, I'm getting a little nervous because this was brought up to me by one of my buddies. He's like, okay, so Playmates is going to start producing turtle toys again. I said, yeah. And kind of like we had mentioned before, you know, they already have the tooling, so that's why they're reproducing those. But it's like, are they doing that to dip their toe in to like kind of suck some of the rights back in? You know what I mean? Like... Because no offense to Playmates, they made a large chunk of my childhood.
They earned it, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. But if I had the choice between current Playmates figures, NECA or Super 7, like, I know, like, to have affordable turtle figures on the shelves again would be something tremendous, in my opinion. And we're kind of getting that with those loyal subject figures, or loyal subjects figures.
The minier, the smaller version.
These guys.
Yeah, I got some over to the side here.
These are ones that are coming out that basically look like bootleg SH Figure Arts figures, but they're part of the 5-inch line that they're putting out.
This is loyal subjects.
Yeah, and so
I like the Beetlejuice.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
They're doing Beetlejuice, and this is the series that they're in. Okay. But if you look at these, and then you look at the SH Figure Arts, like, they are undoubtedly based off of one another. The SH Figure Arts figures are so dead on, like the alternate heads and everything that come with them even are like almost identical, which is just like, okay, cool. You're taking high-end figures, making them your own to put them out at, I think it's like a $15 price point, which is cool because it's an affordable figure. However, it's a Walmart exclusive, so who knows who will find them. But the idea of Playmates being able to possibly put out a line of Turtles figures again is exciting, but kind of scary because it's like, oh, I like what's over here. And I like that you're putting something that's attainable out again, you know, for kids. But it's like, hopefully one won't cancel out the other.
I mean, the price point wasn't super low, though, for the Playmates ones, was it? I thought it was like around the 2-pack? The one that you were...
Oh, no. I was talking about the, like back in the day, like Playmates were...
Oh, yeah.
They were much cheaper, yeah.
Yeah, it was like $4 or $5. I want to say $367, maybe.
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
The new 2-packs are apparently going to be on par with NECA, essentially. So the 2-packs, I think are rumored to be like 40.
Okay. And that's what I'm saying with the loyal subjects. That's, to me, is like a price point that you could, if you're there with your kids and they're like, I'd like to have that. Yeah. It's much more doable than I'm going to collect this. It's going to sit on my shelf, and you can play with it once, but I'm watching you play with it. Make sure you're not hitting them too hard against each other.
Well, but that's what I'm saying is like having something that's attainable. Like the 2012 series was kind of the last one that had that. I'm very thankful that Ollie is super into that because the figures, like, it's easy to grab them still between swaps and everything, and like he's not like super rough with them, but he plays with them. He's 4.
What is your thoughts on you mentioned Playmates? Did Playmates put out these 6 figures, the 4 Turtles, Splinter, and Shredder in the Turtle Band box? It was like a Walmart or Target exclusive.
The classic. Is that
they put out multiple renditions of that. They repainted them as the Mirage comics. They did a standard release. They did an anniversary release. Then they did a Movie Stars pack that was I think it was Movie Stars Turtles, Splinter, and I think the Super Shredder.
Do you think those will have an impact? And including those and all the other ones you're talking about, will those affect the licensing? Like you said, if they realize that they have something here, they can, if they have all the tooling already, they can just start re-releasing all the old figures like every other freaking line that we had when we were a kid is doing. There's He-Man figures in stores right now. There's G.I. Joe in stores. There is Jueassic Park. There's Transformers, and they're all in the original packaging that we had when we were kids. Now Turtles is doing the same thing. Do they realize that this is a thing now, and they start taking those licenses back because there's money on the table for them to make?
Well, did they ever lose the license?
They have the master license, so they can like kind of parse it out however
they can parse it out, and they can take it back, right?
Yeah, but that's exactly the thing is, if they see the money where they can basically reuse old tools, will they do it?
I would think that would impact Super 7 more.
The most, because the figures are basically,
and if they did that off of of, so okay, with Masters of the Universe, it's still new sculpts, it's still new,
Well,
more articulated, yes.
more articulated stuff. So like with Turtles, if they did that, I'd actually be much more inclined to be interested on that version than the one that they are currently doing, which is just a repackage of the ones they released a handful of years ago. But I mean, that said, like, I still haven't seen a whole lot of the new stuff come out. In this moment, it seems like, I'm hesitant to say it's a cash grab. It seems like they're repurposing stuff they already had out there to try and get a second. They see the success of Turtles right now, and they are like, okay, well, why can't we try this again? When I saw that for Shredder, like when it first came out, it never came out, but the proto of it, I was incredibly excited about it. This is before NECA started. I'm trying to remember. NECA, I think, was only doing the Comic-Con exclusive at the time, right?
That was at the very, very beginning of the line.
Yeah.
Where everybody was like, wait, how are you doing this? And it was because they were all con exclusives. And then they got the exclusive rights through GameStop and so on.
I was messaging back with Steve Varner the other day, and I was asking specifically about licensing in terms of some of these old. He puts up a lot of the pictures of like unproduced characters.
Okay, cool.
And he was very much entrenched in that during the Playmates days. And so he has access to all these old conceptual art. And so I'm like, okay, well, now seems the perfect time to be releasing some of those characters that we've never seen before. The fan base is so massive, and the kids who grew up with these things that wouldn't have been able to afford them at the time are now at a place where they want more. They want new stuff. And especially things that were kind of dropped on the cutting room floor, there's some really cool options, really exciting conceptual options there that would be the smart way to go about it, I think, for Playmates.
I agree. As a different option compared to everything else that everybody else is doing. I don't think Super 7 can go that route right now. No. They can't abandon what they're doing. Everybody loves what they're doing currently. They can't now branch off and start releasing figures that or characters that were never released. I think they need to at least ride this out for a bit until people are, I don't want to say not sick of it, but until they have their fill. You know what I mean? Until they filled out their rosters a little bit more. I do think you're right. I think that Playmates has that door open for that. Find something different. Find something that NECA and Super 7 aren't doing and make yourself stand out.
Well, exactly. And I think they not only are they not doing it, but I don't think they have the license to do it. So where Playmates does.
There you go. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So this is something they'd have an essential monopoly on, being able to do this stuff. And not only that, but it's like you are catering towards brand new stuff that people have never seen before. And given it's like you're adding to the mythos in that way too. And it feels genuine and it feels right because it actually came from it. You know, it was always a part of it. We just didn't know it was part of it. Yeah.
I don't think it'll happen, but that's a great idea.
So Playmates, if you're listening,
let us take over for a day.
That's the way to do it. But I briefly touched on this with Dave a little bit earlier about the idea that possibly, can I discuss that? The rumor mill on Super 7 with
we're not sponsored by anybody.
Well, I mean, so the rumor is that they might be branching into and expanding into the later iteration of toys. So they might be actually doing toys of 2003. They might be doing toys of 2012. And
there's just so much ground to cover before they get there. And at the pace that they're going, it'll be, 2035 and it'll be like,
I know.
Here's a 2003 Donnie. But what?
Well, I mean, they do such quality work that it's like I can't be upset because of the wait, because I'm never let down when I get the new stuff when it comes. Even though it's like 4 figures every 5-6 months or more, every time I get them, it's still a huge treat, and I am blown away with the kind of material they're giving to us.
Yeah,
I wish it was more. I mean, that's the thing. But I think if they did go faster, perhaps the quality would suffer, and I'd much rather have the versions we're getting.
Well, and that's where it's frustrating because I look at the NECA lines and I'm like, man, they are cranking. They are pumping out stuff left and right. There's so much ground to still cover with the Fred Wolf cartoons and the movies and everything. But there's part of me that's like, are they going to beat them to the punch? Are we going to see them reach the end of the Fred Wolf figs that they want to do and then jump into 2003 or 2012? Because I would be all for it, but there's so many more characters that they can dredge from the bowels of the Fred Wolf.
Yeah,
it's a totally different topic, but I don't see that happening. Yeah. I honestly think if NECA keeps going at the rate that they're going, and I don't know if you guys are in the same boat that I am with the amount of a bunch of dinos and the first frog set, they are just lining the shelves of my Target. If they keep releasing them at this rate and people keep not picking up these side characters.
It could
I
kill
don't know that they're going to get to the end of them. Right. I think they're going to
Yeah.
oversaturate the market. I'm worried for my beloved NECA line.
I have a feeling though with that, it's kind of like Marvel Legends or Black Series where they hit in waves and it's like, okay, you know, there's this huge demand. We'll ramp up shipping and now it's clogging store shelves. Okay, now we'll bring it down. Oh, but there's the demand again, you know, and
Okay, I'd be fine with that.
I have that feeling that eventually they'll kind of find that sweet spot. But I know, like you were saying, like there's certain sets that are just clogging the shelves, which sucks because
Yeah, it hurts.
well, it also sucks because every time I go there, I'm like, he's going to clearance because maybe I will buy the Triceratops, you know?
I could use some more. Absolutely.
You know, maybe I will. Like, why didn't this happen with the foot soldiers? I'm just saying, like, I've been that close several times to buying a second Splinter and Baxter pack because I want to make the Archie versions.
Yes.
From them.
Oh.
I'm like, no, not still $52. I can't swing that just for me going, I want to repaint them. I can't believe they didn't license Neutrino's frozen pizza. Talk about leaving money on the table. You're not wrong there. I'm surprised they haven't brought back any number of the TMNT like snacks, whether it be like the pizza, you know, pizza flavored everything, the pudding pies, the pizza cereal,
pies. Yeah, the green pudding pies.
But now we have Seth Rogan directing a show, and he is the mother of all stoners. So if there's ever been a chance for us to get stupid snack foods out, now's the chance, guys.
Great call. Great call.
Come on, TMNT pizza rolls. Let's go. All right, so that's question number 2. So
Feel free to join the conversation in the comments below. And if you haven't already, make sure to sub up, give the video a like, and share with anyone you know who appreciates these types of videos. Also, make sure to check out the description for additional links that lead to some similar expanded content we think you'll also probably enjoy quite a bit. You realize you could have gone anywhere and you chose to nerd out with us. And we appreciate that. So, as always, I am Mr. Geeky, and until next we turtle speaky, keep it geeky, folks.